Welcome to Module 3. Let's talk about why rereading your notes and highlighting your textbooks is actually destroying your exam scores. If you followed the Pomodoro protocol in our last module, you successfully encoded the information. The data made it past the bouncer and into your brain. But just because it is in there doesn't mean you can get it out. To understand why, we have to look at a biological process called long-term potentiation. Every single memory you have is just a specific network of neurons firing together. The first time you learn a new concept, the connection between those neurons is incredibly weak. Think of it like trying to hike through a dense overgrown jungle. The first time you walk the path, it is exhausting. It takes massive effort. But if you walk that exact same path every single day, eventually you clear the brush. The dirt gets packed down, it turns into a trail, then a dirt road, and finally a paved highway. You must have seen many paved highways in your life. Picture the most recent one you walked on. In neuroscience, this is summarized by the famous phrase neurons that fire together wire together. Every time you force your brain to retrieve a memory, that synaptic connection gets physically thicker and faster. Have you ever tried to remember something that it causes you a headache? This is exactly why passively rereading your notes fails. When you read a page for the fifth time, your brain says, "Ah, I recognize this." It feels easy. You mistake this feeling of recognition for actual knowledge. Psychologists call this fluency. You recognize the path, but you haven't actually walked it yourself. And on exam day, when the textbook is closed, your brain tries to find the pathway to the answer and realizes it's still just an overgrown jungle. So, what do you do now? To build mastery, you have to use a technique called active recall. If you do not know what active recall is, it is the process of deliberately forcing your brain to retrieve information without looking at the answer. It is the mental equivalent of lifting a heavy weight. If your brain doesn't struggle to pull the information out, the neural pathway will not grow. So what do you do now? Raise your hands.
How do we
How many
practically
of you
apply
have heard
this?
of the Feynman technique? This technique is named after the Nobel Prize winning physicist Richard Feynman. After you read a chapter, close the book. Now explain the concept out loud in your own words, as if you were teaching it to a 5-year-old. If you stumble or have to use complex jargon, you have found a gap in your neural pathway. Go back, check the book, and try again. You can call it explain it like I am 5 technique. The second one is high friction testing. What if the first time you are trying to get out the information is not in your classroom during exam, but you do it while you are preparing for the exam instead of rereading? Then you can find the gaps in your study and still improve it without impacting your exam scores. That will by itself get you ahead of many people who only try to recall the information during the exams. The second one is high friction testing. These the highlighters. Instead of taking passive notes, write your notes as a series of questions. Use flashcard apps like Anki or Quizlet. Do practice exams. If you want to know how to use Anki or Quizlet effectively for your exams, you can enroll in our free course How to Get Good Results Using Anki or Quizlet. These courses are free for a limited time only, so enroll now. Do practice exams. After you've done practice exams, jot down the sections where you were wrong or you seem to struggle. During the next session, focus on this specifically. One thing you should keep in mind is that active recall is going to feel terrible. It is frustrating. It exposes exactly what you don't know. But that feeling of cognitive strain, that struggle to remember, is the literal physical sensation of your brain paving a new highway. Embrace the struggle. It means the studying is actually working. Okay, so you've used active recall. You've paved the neural highway. But what happens if you don't use that highway for a month? The jungle grows back. In our next module, we are going to look at the exact biological timeline your brain uses to delete memories and how we can hack it using spaced repetition. I'll see you there.